It's easy to hear your favorite artist on WFPK from wherever you are. Listen on your smart speaker, live stream from our website at WFPK.org from Louisville Public Media.
Consequence Podcast Network. Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith With. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thank you, as always, for making your way here, checking out the series. Of course, you know what to do if you like what you see, what you hear. Hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, doing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so it's a great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover some new ones at iTunes and Apple Podcast, at Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, WFPK.org, YouTube for the video versions, or of course anywhere you get your podcasts from. Subscribe to Kyle Meredith With. You can find episodes, recent guests that have been on here, like Phil Collin of Def Leppard. We've had Graham Nash of CSNY. We had Little Steven of Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band, Ricky Lee Jones, Les Claypool of Primus. Also actors like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Kylie Rogers, who talked about Beau is Afraid. We had Suki Waterhouse discussing Daisy Jones and the Six. Coach Beard himself, Brendan Huntz from Ted Lasso, Paolo Nutini, Ali Sheedy, De La Soul, and Judy Collins. All those you can find at the Kyle Meredith With podcast. And that's me, Kyle Meredith. Today, my guest, Dave Davies of the Kinks. We're going to be talking about their new compilation called The Journey. Part 1 is already out. There'll be a part 2 as well. And Dave and I are going to, well, the whole thing, it celebrates the 60th anniversary of the band. 60 years, over 60 years at this point. So we're going to be talking about looking back at his past, the band not being afraid of darker subjects, and the intersection between spirituality and politics. In fact, Dave's a big Star Trek fan and compares their subject matter to the philosophy that's frequently found in the episodes of the iconic series. And we'll go on to discuss the importance of imagination and self-expression, having a duty to help people, and having his brother Ray as one of his biggest gurus. All that and more, talking about The Journey. It's Kyle Meredith with Dave Davies of the Kinks.
Hello, Kyle. How are you?
It's a pleasure, honor to meet you. Thank you for being doing this. Yeah.
It's great to meet you too. I'm looking at your pictures, David Bowie.
Got a little Bowie, a little Ziggy, some REM.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's cool.
Just kind of keeping it, all my heroes around me, one way or the other. Let's jump into this. First off, again, it is a pleasure to meet you, and with everything that's going on that you got right now, let's see. We got The Journey with the Kinks, part 1 out. Oh. You got Living on a Thin Line, the book and the album. And maybe it's the obvious question, but let's start there. It seems like the past couple of years have been an opportunity for reflection. Why now?
Well, I think that it's just I don't know why, but I mean I wanted to put a thorough version of my autobiography or memoir, whatever you want to call it, together. Because there's so much stuff over the span of time. You can't say it all in 3 minutes on or 5 minutes on. But I really wanted to pan the book out and make more of, my life and what happened to people, Life is like this amazing movie that we're all watching all the time. So, and it's an interesting time. The record company have been very supportive of us, BMJ, and wanted to put the it's our 60th year. 60th? What happened? and so there's a lot of opportunity to put new project and refurbished products to do. And it's very exciting time.
It's been fun to listen to it, and it's been fun to listen to it how you all stacked them together thematically. Where did that idea come from? Because I, it's interesting. Like, I wonder how many artists can look at their catalog over decades and start, you say it's like a movie, to sort of see it in that sense, because I think that opportunity could be there, but may not always be present for everybody's music. And I guess it was for yours.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ray and I have always kind of thought about things as a visual thing, and even music. When you're playing and writing, it seems visual, like, and you look at watching it as well as hearing it. So I think we've always been that kind of people, and we even had an album out years ago called Think Visual, which really based on a few ideas that Ray conjured together in that regard, and the world can be horrible, but it can be a wonderful place as well. It's not easy trying to sift through one or the other, is it? It's hard work. Being alive is difficult for all of us. No, and music is such an important makeup as human beings. It's important to get these ideas and thoughts and images out, aren't there?
Well, to be on I guess the more playful side of that.
Yeah.
I was looking at the titles of it, and I kind of laughed, and I said, because it all seems to revolve around two things, which was success and girls.
Yeah, at the beginning.
Yeah, and I thought, which one was the more prominent at the time?
I mean, I was 16 when we started, and I was just happy I could string 5 chords together, man. And I had a lot of rage when I was a young man, and I have a bit of it now. And I was thrown out of school, and I don't know what I was going to do, but I loved my girlfriend and I loved music, and that's what set me alight every day. It's life is about many things. It's about upset and sadness and joy and excitement and misery. We all get better at that. So it kind of, I think the Kinks history will go down as being, it's a life affirming exercise as well as, but I think we've never been afraid to touch the darker reaches of our souls or heart. So they're all important, and I think whenever we've got a little bit morose, oh man, it's all over, humor helps to lift it up. And I think humor has always been a really important part of King's music and Ray's writing. Absolutely.
And we'll be right back right after this. Welcome back. It's Kyle Meredith with Dave Davies. Looking at some of the remixes on the Living on a Thin Line album, and one of those you've got This Is the Time. For you, and maybe you're already getting there, but it seems like there is a definite intersection between spirituality and the politics, because both of those kind of found their way. Like, what is that does one sort of guide the other?
Well, in my view, I think that I think we're all spiritual beings. I don't think one person is less spiritual than the other. That's why I think we need to appraise all our ideas that we have about spirituality, try and bring them together a bit more. What's isolation, separation, and about ideas that maybe founded thousands of years ago. Maybe we should think, hey, we're here now. What about make up, and love is such everybody experiences what love is, whether it's through nature or whether it's through your kids or whether it's, it's such a vibrant energy that's happening now in our lives. I mean, we need to really somehow get over the barriers of separation, I think. But what do I know?
I think we do look to you for things that you know. And, further on, I guess what I was talking about, because, This Is the Time, it's interesting even how it speaks maybe against the title track, Living on a Thin Line. Like, there is no England now, which is a line that you wrote decades ago at this point.
Well, it's relevant then. It's still relevant, but it was more relevant when I wrote it, because it was like hanging on to these things in the past and hanging on so desperately for ideals and modes of thinking and living that maybe we need to come on, let's move on. You know, I'm a big Star Trek fan, and I think there's so much, even in those old shows, there's so much philosophy and spiritual thought contained in even some of the silliest episodes. But I think science fiction's important as well, and in science fiction you can speak a lot of truth, and you're in a truth without it being chipped or formed by a policy or a way of thinking. I think it's important to have imaginative thought. And we might not be right, but it might have a clue. We might have a tendency towards solving something through the use of imagination. And that was really the thought behind the track. This is the time. It's a condensed version of a track I did some years ago. But it was too long. Oh, it's far too long, I thought. But we condensed it down. It does vibe out as a really good dancey, vibey track. And I quoted a piece of live footage from Carl Jung in that track. And they said, it made me laugh at the time, but it's very serious, of course. But man cannot live a meaningless life. Man cannot live, you know, it's fun to experiment with the samples, but also they can give writing and ideas and songs greater meaning. And I love making that track. I help my son, Simon, who's very good at musician, plug it in, plug it out, all the musical stuff as well. And we had a lot of fun making that. But it's about, life's an adventure as well, but it's very scary out there. But we got to just do what we can, I guess.
Yeah, I was just talking with the actress Harriet Walter yesterday, and we were talking about sci-fi and about all of this. And it's interesting that you're just bringing it up again because that especially, I don't know, maybe for, you know, growing up in the space age and the way sci-fi played into that. But it's, you know, what's really interesting to me is the prophetic nature, like using those imaginations that you're talking about, and what it ends up doing is setting this template for what we can do and what we're capable of doing.
I totally agree. I think it's important. I got excited thinking about science fiction. But when you think about it, it's kind of all layered and linked anyway. Yeah, it's like, where do you get ideas from? And we'd be really messed up, really, as if we're not messed up enough, if we didn't have imagination. That you have the mental and emotional choice to create change around us. You know, we're all in this Maya together, and we have an imagination and feelings, and we can all do something about it rather than sit and drive ourselves crazy. I mean, we're going to get that anyway, but it's important that self-expression. You know, when I was at school, I was terrible at school because I didn't realize I was dyslexic as a kid, and we didn't know what it was. Oh, it's stupid, I don't know. I didn't realize what a lot of these deeply personal things are in people that was coming in view of autism and all the different. In the 50s, they didn't know what that was. Shut up, go to bed. But then we're learning more by finding out what's wrong with us. I think that's where we're really learning. Not necessarily what can we achieve, but what can we bring to the table. It's not always about winning, losing. I think you learn more from losing than you do from winning. You think, how can I do it different? That's the great thing about sport. That's why sport is so important. And I think, what do I know? But we're very complex creatures, aren't we?
Absolutely, we are.
We're also too quick to judge, aren't we? We're too quick to say that's wrong, right? It's insecurity, really. We're also insecure, but I think as artists, painters, and artists have a duty, really, to try and help what's going on. It's like when you're in the band, you come together and you're trying to help each other out. Well, did that, or did that. It's like and that's why I think being in a band has been really rewarding for me as a person, because you have to rely on each other to bring things to some sort of positive resolution or fruition. And I think my brother Raymond, I think he's been one of my biggest gurus, if you like, or friend or enemy. And so it's a lot of different things. It's not always the same thing.
And we'll be right back right after this. Welcome back. It's Kyle Meredith with Dave Davies.
But I have to say, though, that what's really helped the Kinks, I think, over the years is the humour. Humour kind of holds things together when they could easily fall apart. So humor's vibrant thing in a lot, and in the creative world, and cartoons. I mean, it's like such a great way to express how we really feel without hurting anyone. We don't have to hurt each other, but I don't know. Sometimes maybe we need a little bit of pain to see truth, if there is truth, which I believe there is. And there's probably as much truth in a Star Trek episode than there is in a political rally. Probably a lot more, a lot deeper truth.
I would absolutely agree with you on that too. And I know we're getting up against the clock here. I just say that the magic that you all do create together through the imagination, through humor, for over the past 60 years, it's been so important to so many of us, that we do stay engaged, and we do wonder, because even as we're celebrating 60 years of the Kinks, it was 30 years ago that the final record, made its way out, which I've been fun listening to, Phobia, the past couple days, thinking about this. Do you look at that as the final statements, the final chapter on the Kinks still?
Oh no, man! Keep going. You got to keep going. If you feel it, do it. It's got to come out somehow. I think that I guess throughout my life I've seen coming of CDs and cassettes and all the methods of producing sound. But music is still very vibrant and important in people's lives. What the hell would we do without music? Without the Beethovens and the John Lennons and the R.E.M. and it's such a wonderful landscape of diverse music that we have at our fingertips that can inspire us to be whatever we want to be. And I think we're very fortunate to live in, I don't know, so many different sections of the world that are kind of in turmoil. It's difficult to assess or reassess. But I think when there's hope, when we have imagination, we have great hope for something better or weirder or stranger, newer. Because I think that's a great basis of what a human being is. The ability to have humor and imagination. When you sit in a room on your own, sitting there thinking about things, that's such a powerhouse, what we got going on. And we can do whatever we want. It really, and I think it's an exciting time now. I know I'm getting older, but I find it really exciting creatively what people are getting on with and getting through. And I think we do have a future as a human race. I really do. I believe in the future. I believe in the Kinks. I believe in you, my friend.
I believe in the Kinks as well. Dave, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it again. It's been such a pleasure and an honor.
You've been cool, man. Really cool. Thank you.
My thanks to Dave. The Kinks, The Journey, Part 1 is already out. And thanks to you for checking out the episode and the series. I do hope you hit that subscribe button while you're hanging around. Again, you'll get 3 brand new interviews sent to you every single week. That's a new one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to keep you up to date on your favorite artists. And discover the new ones at iTunes and Apple Podcasts. It's Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, WFPK.org, YouTube for the video versions, or anywhere you get your podcasts from. Subscribe to Kyle Meredith with. Now, after that, head over to WFPK.org. So I do a show Monday through Friday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews. Again, that's Monday through Friday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me in the old social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All 3 of them. The address is at Kyle Meredith. So do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time. Consequence Podcast Network.
It's easy to hear your favorite artist on WFPK from wherever you are. Listen on your smart speaker, live stream from our website at WFPK.org, from Louisville Public Media.